Manchester City in England before they could win that league. They were winning 1-0. That's what in fact, the British journalists come up with the...
I know I'm not going to win this argument with you, Mr. Alfred, so no problem.
So we play.
Anyways, let's go on. Let's leave football for Oyiye at 1:30, all right? I'm sure she'll be bringing you the highlights of that. Anyways, Mr. Peter Osangbi is a public relations expert, is a businessman, and also a social commentator. Welcome again, Mr. Osangbi, before we were interrupted by Nigeria-Burundi match. All right. Okay, we're waiting. The Akogungani Kayode Balogun, he should be here in a few minutes. He's just stuck in traffic somewhere. But meanwhile, welcome viewers to the program. 0802-836-8971 is the number to use for SMS only. And today we'll be looking at the Cold War between Oshiomhole and Governor Obaseki of Edo State. Also, we'll be looking at President Muhammadu Buhari's second-term promises and also the failed presidential order on the Apapa port. But first, let's start with a bit of what's trending on the news. Senate President Ahmed Lawan withdraws media aide's appointment 48 hours after. Senate President Ahmed Lawan has withdrawn the appointment of Dr. Festus Adedayo as a special advisor on media and publicity. His decision came following a public outcry from members of his party, the APC, who believe they've been sidelined. According to the youths, Adedayo worked with former Senate President Bukola Saraki and so does not believe in the ideology of the APC-led government. The youth also frowned at Lawan's decision to retain all the aides of his predecessor, Bukola Saraki. They argue that they cannot work tirelessly for the government to come into power and then be sidelined during appointments for people who worked against the government. 20 seconds each.
No, but this is a very dangerous trend.
It is.
And then it has to be checked. The question for me is whether this fellow is competent.
Or not.
Everybody says he's competent. His only sin is that he worked for Bukola Saraki.
Yeah.
Recall that previous administrations, even those who were very critical against Babangida, Tai Sholari, Beko Ransom Kuti, he brought them on board to come and work. The point here is that the average Nigerian, indeed some APC persons, have seen this thing about service to one's country as opportunity to come and chop.
Exactly.
So we have worked and you now want to come and chop. No, we won't allow that. If they had seen it as proper service to the fatherland, they wouldn't have opposed what they have opposed. But recall again too, that we have it on authority that, I mean, that's the trend there in the National Assembly. You inherit the staff, particularly if they are doing well. In fact, for me, credit should go to Lawan, because the impression I had about him is different from what he was actually exhibiting. For him to have the courage to have inherited those, because he may have seen their competence. Now, we should be talking about competence here. Uche Chukwumerije is one of the brilliant, most successful ministers of information that we had. Did he do his job as Minister of Information excellently well? It was during the reign of June 12th. During the announcement of June 12th. But he did an excellent job by disseminating information and actually working for the government, effectively. Okay. So if this fellow did it, why don't you give him the job? Now, Saraki inherited these same fellows from Mark, David Mark, the previous Senate president. The point is that continuity, effectiveness of job is very critical.
It is.
For a government to actually succeed.
Yes.
So I do not buy the idea. Rather, the hero in all of this is not those who are celebrating on Facebook that they have stopped their appointment. For me, the hero is Lawan, who actually went for competence. In fact, he invited 2 people for interview, including this fellow that was rejected. So we must begin to rethink. As this government, this Nigerian government leadership now, does not belong to Buhari. It doesn't belong to APC. It belongs to Nigerians. Okay,
all right. Let me hear Chief Ofose's take on this.
It's unfortunate. You see, in this government, since 2015 to date, we have politicized everything that we do in this country. Even as a private decision of the public office holder, because it's your own, it's your priority to appoint a media aide. And I always believe that I have seen a lot of things happening people say that Adedayo was very critical of the APC and the President Muhammadu Buhari and even Lawan. And I want to remind Nigerians that there is a certain governor called El-Rufai that never saw anything good with Buhari when he was in PDP. He criticized Mr. President. In fact, the governor was the one that came up with the allegations that Mr. President never succeeded in passing any of his exams as a military head of state when he was the Minister of FCT. And today, I think if Mr. Buhari, if the President is walking past and El-Rufai is also walking past, El-Rufai may be crawling while Mr. President is walking with his feet. So that tells you that in politics there is no permanent friend
or permanent foe.
It's just about what you can get from that person at that point in time. 90% of the people that would be president today, they were against him since 1999 to 2014. They were against him.
Okay, but can we bring it home to this particular scenario?
Somebody called me this morning on telephone interview for my opinion on this. And I've said that in politics, in journalism, in my own journalism, I want to speak the truth about the newsroom. That if a particular company look at another paper and be giving that paper advert, your editor will call you and say, what are you doing? Why don't you attack this paper? Go and look for what they are not doing right and speak about it. And when you speak about it, they will call you, they will give us advert, they will become our friend. And that's exactly what applies to politics. You attack and get favored. Now, for those who believe that a praise singing should be the order of the day, for them to be appointed, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't agree with that.
All right. Okay. Let's not go too far on this issue. Very unfortunate, but that is the situation. Moving it along, the last trending news today, PDP raises costs of nomination forms from 5 million naira to 20 million ahead of the November 16 governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has reviewed the party's costs of nomination forms for governorship position from 5 million naira to 20 million naira. According to the party, the increase is as a result of the rising cost of printing and logistics. Spokesperson to the PDP, Kola Ologbodiyan, told journalists that proceeds from the sales of forms to aspirants will help the party to cover the cost of conducting free and fair primaries for contestants.
Patient, let me come in there because I contested election last year on that platform, and we were told that we'll pay our nomination form, House of Assembly was 600,000, and I can tell you here that I ended up paying 1.2 million. Okay,
almost double.
Almost double. Now the 600,000 was an advertised cost. Now the different state chapters of the party decided to include some of their contingencies and everything. Sorry, and everything that they could put in. For me, I'm not a party to that. Nomination forms should actually be free for me to run a party. Now, PDP is not a poor party. PDP has about how many state governors? You know, when you use a party to get to
a certain level,
you need to also pull something back into the party to run the party for the sustenance of the party. Now, if this government can do this, and I know APC governors are doing it, helping their parties to sustain themselves because they are not selling crayfish on the street. It is the members that contribute. You know, political parties in Nigeria, members hardly pay dues. They don't pay dues, but you always see it's only when you want to go for a political position, that's when you are mandated to pay your dues.
So is this a good increment or not?
All
right, let me hear
I share a different view.
Okay.
Truth of the matter is that the political parties need this money, particularly PDP. Now, it's a clear indication that funding of political parties is done through government offices and government patronage. Now, PDP are not in the federal, they are not controlling the federal government, and that is why they are broke. So, what option do they have? The option they have is for, what's it called? For them to raise their nomination fee to that amount. PDP are not controlling the federal government, and the money bags are not supporting them. The $10 of this world the Dangotes of this world are no longer giving them money because they give money to where the power is. Exactly. So you don't blame PDP for raising. The reverse. Some years ago, in 2015, what did APC do? They increased their own because they were not. So what we should be talking about really?
They even increase it. Yeah.
So this is a clear indication. And what we should be talking about as Nigerians now is how to checkmate these people from using public funds to fund their political parties.
No. Right. You see, patient, let me say something. You see, the idea of you taking, for a governor, taking nomination form and to 20 million shows that when is somebody, you see, the campaign money is not there. The campaign fund is not part of it.
Go and raise funds.
When you raise funds, when you get to the government house, what you want to recoup your money from?
No, if you raise funds, you are not recouping again.
Why?
Obama raised funds.
Because it's not your money.
People,
what's going to raise fund? Do they raise fund? Even Buhari, let Buhari start as well as he was loved in 2013. I think that was when they were trying to do that. Nobody did that when he was in government. Because they believed that he didn't live up to what he was saying.
Okay. All right, so for those who might be gunning for any position under the platform or on the platform of the PDP, you might make sure you have a very robust account, you know.
So where will I get 20 million?
Raise funds.
Okay, if you're just joining us, you're watching The Buzz, your social media program on television. Akogungani Kayode Balogun is here with us. We're going to take a break now to allow him sit down so we can get into the main discuss of the day. Meanwhile, let's play you this song titled Love Your Country by Lapis Lazuli. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
L'avenir de notre pays entre nos mains. Soyons patriotiques et unissons nos efforts pour placer notre pays à l'échelon international en préservant la gloire de notre héritage. notre leader pour assurer l'avenir de nos enfants et de notre pays.
All right, welcome back from that break. Akogun Gani Kayode Balogun has finally made it to the show this afternoon. Welcome, sir.
Yes.
How was traffic out there?
As usual.
On Mondays.
We are still collecting our money from relevant drivers. We're going to do more.
All right, Akogun Gani Kayode Balogun is a renowned journalist. He's worked in top media platforms across board, and he's a social commentator. And today he's the Osiare Onokakankwo for the entire Yoruba land. All right, we're going to be looking at the Cold War between Adams Oshiomhole, national chairman of the APC, and Godwin Obaseki, the governor of Edo State. We're going to take a quick commercial break at this point. When we come back, we'll go into our discussion. Do join us again. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, is The Buzz, your social media program on television. 0802-836-8971 is the number to use for SMS. The Oshiomhole Obaseki War. The Cold War between Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State and the national chairman of the APC, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, has entered another dimension, so says reports, as the embattled governor tries to consolidate his position ahead of his second term bid in 2020. Those close to the state of affairs in the state allege that Oshiomhole is determined to take back control of Edo State from Obaseki's iron grip. The genesis of tensions can be traced back to 2016, when Oshiomhole, the outgoing governor of the state, then handpicked Obaseki, who was then the chairman of the State Economic and Strategic Unit, as his successor against the advice of many stakeholders. No sooner had Obaseki settled down than he went about hounding some of his predecessors' most loyal men placed in strategic positions. While some were arrested and detained, others were summarily dismissed, the rest were unceremoniously run out of town. The governor also allegedly undermined some of the projects of the previous administration, like the Benin Central Hospital, built by Oshiomhole, which is yet to be opened several years after completion. Since then, Oshiomhole has had an axe to grind with his former protege as the time approaches to choose the state's #1 citizen. He senses his opportunity to get his pound of flesh. This is according to newspaper reports. All right, gentlemen, of course, we know we've been reading different reports, you know, on this Oshiomhole Obaseki issue. As it is now, Akogun, do you think these are mere assumptions or insinuations, or there are hard facts really backing this Cold War?